Hi folks, good morning to each one of you, and as always it's a great pleasure to come and speak to you on contemporary topics or topics of importance with respect to life and careers. I have to come to speak to you about a very important and probably I even call it a burning topic today. How much of money is required for you to quit your job, or how much of money is required for you to start off on your own and become successful and probably be free of all the shackles of a 9 to 5 job which you think is a rut. That is a very crucial question which I'm going to address in this very short podcast. Stay with me till then, and if you think this channel has got a lot of sensible content which you like, kindly hit the subscribe button and also like this video. The internet and YouTube are littered with videos and information about how much of money is required for you to start off your own. This is irrespective of where you are in your career. You could be early career, you could be a mid-career or later in your career, but all these years you've been on a full-time job, a 9 to 5 job, or even a 24/7 high-pressure job, and suddenly you feel that probably you can't take it anymore, and you feel that you probably are being very underpaid for all the expertise which you offer on the job. All of us get that feeling very often. We feel that we have bad bosses, we have bad organizations, or even if we are working in great employment, we feel that we're not really being given the best salary. We feel everybody else is doing better, our peers are doing better, and suddenly a question which arises in our mind is, what the hell am I doing, spending so much of time on this job and earning so little? That is a human tendency. That is also because the grass is greener on the other side. We really don't know what challenges the people who are so-called entrepreneurs are facing, or so-called startups are facing, and we tend to jump the gun and feel that because the grass is perceived as greener on the other side, we want to really quickly take a decision and move on and try something on our own. And honestly, believe me, in today's world, a whole lot of times people mislead you into this trap. I'm not really blaming people, because most of them are well-wishers. It could be even your own family, even your own children, your own spouse, or probably your close circle of friends and things like that. They all may say, oh, what the hell are you doing so and so? I mean, why are you wasting your time, struggling so much, working so hard? You don't have weekends, you're not going on holidays. If you really become a freelancer and be on your own, you probably will be much better off. And that suddenly sets us thinking, and we all jump the gun and think, okay, I'm going to quit very soon. I've seen a lot of people who even take spur of the moment decisions and quit suddenly without any plan on hand. And when I say plan on the hand, it is not just the plan in terms of what you're going to do on your own as a freelancer. Of course, you might have a lot of expertise, you might have a lot of skills, you might have depth of expertise in some skills and things like that. But believe me, all that doesn't matter as long as you have a strong financial backing or a financial plan if you want to quit a job. And how much of finances are required is the next billion-dollar question. You might be on a firm salary now, you might have a whole lot of commitments, you might have house rentals or EMIs to pay, you might have children's education to pay, you might have your spouse's personal expenses to take care of, you might have elderly parents in home who have to be tended to and they're dependent on you, you might have a dependent family which requires a lot of money. And believe me, despite all the shortcomings, the job which you are on, or the job which you are probably thinking that is a rote, is paying you for all these expenses, and you probably, only when you closely look at it, you really feel how much of things have been taken care of. Of course, there is pressure on the job, you are working very hard, but all that is for the sake of your family and your immediate family circle. Without this job, or without this recurring money which will hit the bank every 5th or 6th of the month, imagine a situation how difficult it would have been to sustain life or sustain a particular lifestyle till date. Now cut to that, and now come back to the present where you want to quit your job and you think you can easily make that kind of money. Believe me, it is extremely tough out there, and people who are saying that all you need to do is to just have 3 months salary or 6 months salary in your bank are probably completely laying a trap for you or misleading it. It takes much more than that. There are people who've struggled for 1 or 2 years on freelancing jobs and have found it very hard to make ends meet. And I myself personally am an example. Initially, when I was on a full-time job, I probably thought freelancing will give much more money thanks to my competencies and skills. And of course, as a freelancer, I do so much of work. But even after probably 10 years as a freelancer, Nowhere am I close to the kind of steady income which came when I was working on a full-time job, either as a PR professional or a recruitment or HR professional. So this is the brutal reality of the market, and this is the brutal reality of life. If you have to really if you're someone who has been always very, very secure, somebody who's been very, very comfortable in terms of having firm salaries every month, the risk taking is not for you, I would say. Unless otherwise you probably can fend your family for 3 to 5 years, you should not even think about it. Anybody who says 3 to 5 months or just 1 year of salary or savings is enough is actually playing a crude joke on you. I'm not blaming them. They are only being too optimistic. Here I'm not being either optimistic or pessimistic. I'm being a hardcore realist or a pragmatist. Unless otherwise you can fend your family for 2 to 3 years with some kind of savings, with some kind of property rental, some kind of income. Maybe your father has given you some property and things like that, even to the extent that you can probably sell off a small part of the property and take care of the expenses. If this is not the kind of comfort level you're on today, believe me, it is completely suicidal to jump into the freelancing mode or a consultant mode, or partner with a team of friends who are probably luring you to come to them and join their startup. All said and done, the brutal reality is that you need to fend for yourself. If in case there is a financial issue, your family is you should never put your family to task in terms of undergoing a tough time because for their basic needs and expenditure. And if you have to take care of that, you kindly be sure that you probably have about 5 years of savings in the bank. I'm not joking, and I've seen a lot of people suffer who jump into the gun thinking that this 3 months or 6 months salary or 1 year salary is going to be sufficient. It is just not sufficient. If you go and speak to people and ask people really as to how much of savings they had before they could make it big, they will easily say that although they had only about 3 to 6 months money in the bank, what really they had was a lot of support which kept them going for about 3 to 5 years. That is a brutal reality of life, and no one in YouTube or any of the social media ecosystem say this. As a matter of fact, I sometimes feel very sad that a lot of these videos or so-called coaches on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter are really misleading people. You have one whole bunch of new breed of joker coaches who tell that you can earn in crores and lakhs just by doing some quick fix coaching method and training method and selling your skills and putting your skills for sale up there in the internet. It is not. It is and it is purely a money-making gimmick for them. As long as they are concerned, they are trying to fool a bunch of people and probably take as much as money from them by offering some kind of training which may be good or bad. That's a different story. But the point is, all these people who offer quick fix, get rich solutions are playing a crude joke on everybody. And I see a lot of people falling into the trap and probably doing those short-term courses and imagining that they're going to get rich very quickly, and that kind of foolish trust in themselves is making them leave their jobs and struggle much later. So believe me, never jump the gun as far as a firm job is concerned. As a matter of fact, I'm a very big advocate of freelancing. I've been a freelancer for about 10 years now, but that again, if you ask me, is probably also by force, because I have a lot of other commitments on the personal front. Given a choice, if at all I had more mobility and flexibility in terms of taking up an assignment, even today I would take up an assignment, not because of what I'm not enjoying freelancing. It is because freelancing even today is not really making me comfortable in terms of the financial backing or financial status. Of course, I would be probably much happier if there was a whole amount of savings, big amount of savings in the bank, or probably I had a huge amount of property vested in me by my ancestors and things like that. So this is the reality of life. Think twice, think thrice, think 10 times before you jump the gun based on any wrong guidance that your 3 months salary or 6 months salary is going to be enough. Of course, everybody has got their own unique expenses. Everybody has got their own unique lifestyle. Somebody might have just a two-wheeler and have a 1 BHK. Somebody might have a car and another car for the spouse and a 3 BHK and a probably swanky lifestyle. Kids education, a couple of kids might be in the college, a couple of kids might be in the school. And believe me, in today's India and today's metros and smaller towns, even school education has become very expensive. What was probably a 10,000 rupee fee in the year 2000 is probably a lakh or 2 lakh fee per term in today's world, in a place like Bangalore, Chennai or Hyderabad. And realistically, if you are the head of the family, if you are a support of the family in terms of finances, you need to ensure that that kind of money is going to flow on a regular basis, recurring basis, religiously hit the bank every month. And that is the big advantage which a job gives you. Yes, the job is stressful. Sometimes we may not really enjoy the job. We probably even hate the job. But believe me, end of the day, money matters, and that money is being put in your bank on the 5th or 31st of the month by this employer, whomever you are. So to that extent, you need to be content with whatever you have. Be very, very happy that you've been financially provided for all these years. And yes, there is nothing wrong in taking risk. I urge all of you to become freelancers or entrepreneurs. But if you want to really jump out of your present employment and take up something full-time as a freelancing option, please make sure that you provide for liberally 5 years of all your expenses. I'm not saying don't go on a conservative basis. Be very practical on all the expenses which you will have. It can be your rental expenses, it can be EMI expenses, it can be your lifestyle related expenses. If you are in the practice of going for holidays, add those expenses. Just add about every sort of expense which you have and come to an annual figure and multiply it by 5 minimum. Unless otherwise you have that in your bank, believe me, irrespective of how fast you succeed or fail or how much of time it takes, you are going to put your entire family in suffering, and your entire ecosystem is going to suffer because of wrong decisions, and not because of your own volition, but a lot of time because of wrong guidance and information available on the internet. This is something which I wanted to highlight to all my fellow professionals, irrespective of what level of your career or you're on. Yes, a job has got its shortcomings. A job has got a lot of extra work. Maybe jobs are very taxing, there's a very high stress and things like that. But believe me, the stress of not having money in the bank is 10 times more than the stress on the job. That is something which I have learned the hard way. And if you probably have to face a situation where there are sudden expenses in life in terms of medical expenses, medical emergency and things like that, it is going to be extremely tough if you are a freelancer. I'm telling this from the bottom of my heart. I've undergone all this, and I've probably seen the pits of life. I'm not trying to say this because I'm looking for sympathy. No, not at all. I'm saying this because I genuinely feel no one else should do mistakes which someone like me had made in life. To that extent, believe me, anyone who tells you that it is enough if you have 3 or 6 months saving or 1 year saving is just playing a joke on you, misleading you. And all this get rich fast success coaches are only trying to make money for themselves for their day, and they just don't care about anybody else. Their only idea is to probably enroll as many people in those courses which look like a magic wand, and they trap people, get a lot of money, and maybe they get richer. But anyone who does those courses and blindly follows those is just not going to be richer. It is a fact of life. Probably you only lose that few hundred rupees or few thousand rupees of doing that course also. I might sound very, very pessimistic, but these are hard lessons of life as far as money is concerned. Life treats you very, very badly if you don't have money in the bank and don't have a regular income. That is a bottom line. And that is a fact universally. Universally, you like it or not, a regular income is one of the most important things for a self-respecting professional. And if you are going to play around or risk that, you have to be very, very planned, ready in terms of how much of savings you have. If probably somebody can borrow you what you require for about 5 to 10 years, and you can keep your family comfortable, yes, you can go ahead with the risks. Another thing a lot of people say is, yeah, why not, you take a risk, maybe if doesn't work out, you come back to your employment. It is not that easy. Once you cut out from a full-time employment, get into freelancing, and you are a freelancer for a year or two, and then you go back to your employment, do you think people will happily employ you? No. I've seen people ask thousands of questions as to why you start off your own and you coming back to an employment, full-time employment. Plus, you just lose any kind of leverage in terms of negotiations or compensation, things like that. If probably you are at a 20 lakh compensation today and you do something on your own for about 2 years and go back to employment, believe me, the salary can go back to even 10 lakhs or 12 lakhs, putting the clock back for you by about a decade or two. So these are the kind of pitfalls which are there practically, and not many people around here tell you that. Maybe there are probably some good friends who might highlight you this practical realities of life. This might sound as very, very negative information, but believe me, this is the real information. This is the information which you really want to take wise decisions in terms of your career, in terms of wanting to do something on your own. Bear all this in mind. Of course, as I keep repeating, everybody's got a unique lifestyle, everybody has got their own priorities in terms of money and things like that, and everybody has got their own resources. But for someone who's dependent on a compensation, on a regular income, what I stated in this video is extremely important. I'm sure you will find it very, very useful when you are compelled to take decisions, or when you probably are driven to take emotional decisions because it has been a bad day at work. Think twice, think thrice, and think 100 times, and believe me, unless otherwise you have a lot of money in the bank, don't take stupid decisions in terms of going on your own. Again, I'm not being very, very pessimistic. You might find it very, very ironic that I put other videos on freelancing as a career option and why you should pursue freelancing and things like that. But at the same time, it is my responsibility to bring to you the pitfalls of freelancing life as far as money is concerned. And all of you would agree, money is everything in life. Of course, you can all talk philosophically and hypothetically, saying that happiness is more important and stuff like that. But money is a fountainhead of everything in life, and without that, it is going to be an extreme struggle. It's not that you alone will struggle; you also put your entire family in trouble. Don't do that. Be very, very careful, and probably plan very well. Think very wisely before you take any decision on the professional front. Thank you. I am sure this video was very, very useful. Of course, I have not gone into details in terms of the exact numbers and what kind of lakhs and crores you should have. But in terms of a thumb rule, whatever I said, this stands true. Thanks, and I'll see you again soon.